Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another impression/gameplay video. Today I'll be covering one of the last two remaining heroes that I have yet to cover that I promised I would cover. That is going to be Azgalor the Pit Lord, and I am going to probably do Legion Commander and Abaddon if they don't come out relatively soon, i.e. in the next week, because, you know, there's not that many games for me to cast recently, so I might as well do these FP VODs because, you know, I find them pretty interesting, they're pretty fun to play, and I think people like them. But anyways, gonna go over Pit Lord. It's a really fun hero. It's a fun hero that I've had a great amount of enjoyment with ever since I started playing Dota, which was in 2008. And I'll be going mid, hopefully, if they let me go mid. If they don't let me go mid, I'll be very sad. And of course, I'm gonna be matched up against the techies, but I don't know. I'd rather play against techies than play with the techies. That might just be me. That's just how I feel, because I really just don't like playing against techies, or with techies. God, fuck techies. Anyways, I started playing this game in 2008, and like most people, since you devote a lot of time to this game, I was obviously looking on the internet for guides, and I've found some, and obviously that led me into looking for more guides, and obviously if you look hard enough you will inevitably get yourself into the competitive scene, and that's when I started looking for competitive guides in general. But Pit Lord was a very trendy hero back in those days, as he was a very powerful turtler. I think the stable version was 6.52. Even though I started playing at 6.55, the competitive stable version was 6.52. So Pit Lord was a very powerful hero. He was a very strong turtler since all his abilities do thrive in choke points. And Pit Lord, I mean, Merlini made a comic on mim.com or mymim.com where you just turtle all day with Pit Lord and then wait for your Luna to get 6-slotted. It's like, alright, Luna, farm your 6-tier items. I'll be back in 35 minutes after I'm done turtling. I'll just spam Firestorm and pit a mouse over and over again. And, you know, you do that with Luna, you do that with Terrorblade, which were the two main carries of that version. But Pit Lord has been tweaked slightly since then. He has fallen off quite a bit since the turtling style has fallen out of favor, and he was also adjusted. I'll go over some of his adjustments going through this video. But one of his adjustments was that Firestorm was reworked into a channeling ability that also targeted buildings. They reverted it back, so now it's the old Firestorm, and I'll be explaining that very shortly. Pit Mouths remains the same, Dark Rift remains the same, although now you can cancel it. So obviously that was just intent to not grief. But his third ability, which used to be Expulsion, is now Atrophy Aura. And Expulsion, what it used to do was that it caused corpses to explode. And I don't know if you've ever seen that Whoa Dota dancing Nevermore to the Scandalous song. You know that the reason he was dancing is because he was on top of a multitude of dead creeps, and the mini stun from Expulsion was causing him to just dance like an absolute maniac. I mean, he was a super freak. But now, and then they reworked, I forgot, they reworked Expulsion so it would do half as much damage, but it could also heal your teammates, and that made him into one of the most ridiculous pushers of all time. Now it's called Atrophy Aura. But I'm just going to go over Firestorm for a little bit, but before I do that I should probably go over his base attributes. So as you can see, he's a melee hero. He has pretty respectable 64 to 70 base damage. Of course, this is keeping in mind I have 3 GG branches on top. He has decent base armor 4, which allows him to go mid, which I think is his best role. He should go mid, or he should be a 1v1 solo matchup in any sort of lane, but I think mid is where he thrives. His move speed is 305, which is pretty solid. What's the lag like? Man, I'm lagging hardcore. So overall, you know, pretty above average melee hero stats. His strength growth, he is a strength hero, is I think average or slightly below average. He's not meant to tank, he's meant to cast. So his strength growth is, you know, very average. His agility growth, I think, is horrid. I don't think he gets much armor whatsoever. His intelligence growth, I think, is respectable, although it's not as impressive as other, you know, heroes, other casters, I suppose. Oh no, Murano, why are you doing that? Are you gonna arrow me, bro? Alright, good. So yeah, he has the attributes to go solo mid, which I think is probably his best position. And you can see, first ability is Firestorm. He has a really ridiculous AoE, and you should be using it to zone out the other mid laner. Of course, other melee lanes will just do it like that bottom did, which is just walk past it and harass you regardless. Oh my god, what is this lag? I'm not having a good time this far, but it's okay. But what Firestorm does is that it's a castable ability, has a very large AoE. Not the biggest caster range I find, but it's good enough so you can turtle with it very effectively if you do feel the need to turtle with it. But yeah, you can see I'm just casting it, so if Mirana goes back, she'll still take a lot of Firestorm damage regardless. Don't hit me with an arrow. Yes. I'm okay. So now I got my bottle, and now I'm just gonna spam this into oblivion. But here's Firestorm. Cooldown remains the same. I think mana cost decreases slightly. I'm not too sure. But overall, the burn DPS as well as the amount of damage the initial or the strikes do in general does increase as well. So, you know, it's obviously the spell you should max first because it does do quite a bit of damage. So that's why I max. His second spell is called Pit of Malice. I'll go over that into a bit more detail once I start using it. I want to go over his third ability because that one makes him truly unique, as I guess they want to keep the corpse thing in line, but this is an interesting way how to do it, I suppose. So his third ability is called Atrophy Aura, which is a new ability that a lot of you Dota 1 veterans probably wouldn't be too accustomed to knowing about. So he did not get the bottle. Bottle's on bottom lane. But I still have a couple bottle charges and I'm just going to go in. So what Atrophy Aura does is that it weakens enemy attack units, and that means every unit in a 900 AoE. So you can see it's getting weak. And of course it also affects heroes. And it scales up to 42%. It's a passive aura. And every time something dies around you, I don't know if you remember the old Visage. Well, not this super old Visage, but one of the older versions of Visage where he had an ability called Soul Assumption, which he still does have. But the older Soul Assumption was a passive that allowed him to increase his damage output by a significant degree whenever things died around him. Whether it be, you know, heroes or creeps or whatever. But that's basically what this is, except in an aura. And it reduces everybody in AoE rather than just increasing its damage. So it's pretty powerful as far as abilities go. Now I'm not maxing in the middle lane because if I max it too much then these creeps will do no damage, and even though you want to push the towers up as much as you possibly can, you know, it might not always be the best idea to sort of... I don't know what I'm getting at. If I push out the creeps too far, they might go to like this tier 2 range, and I've had that happen to me before. I did try maxing it just to sort of see how this hero would work if you maxed it once, and I didn't find it most agreeable. As I cannot multitask very effectively. But Atrophy Aura is truly his most unique attribute, and probably the reason why heroes would pick him along with his ultimate. But yeah, Atrophy Aura is obviously extremely strong. It does scale very well. Keep in mind it only reduces the base attack damage. It doesn't increase or decrease attack modifiers in general. So, you know, obviously it won't really do that much compared to a Dry Ranger who gets all her abilities as you level up the marksmanship as well as the True Shot Aura. So, you know, that sucks versus Drow, but against a lot of other carries in general, it's still going to be useful nonetheless. Hopefully I don't run over a Brigade of Mines. It doesn't even matter because the rune isn't here. Ooh. That rune luck. Too good. I think my team's getting owned. My team is getting owned. Oh well, what can you do? What can you do? Suck it up. And you can see this Mara's taking a lot of harassment. You know, it's just spamming out of the lane, just overall being way too annoying. And I like being annoying, that's why I like this hero. I don't know if techies planted mines over the bottom rune. Hopefully he didn't, but I'm gonna guess that he did, and I'm probably walking to my death. And the rune isn't even there anyways. So I guess Mirana took it. What happened to it? Did somebody bottle it? No, I guess somebody took it, and I'm just stupid. But you can see since creeps are dying around me, the damage goes up. And also I forgot to tell you, as you go up Atrophy Aura, you get more and more damage buffs. Or buffs. Buffs. So basically what this hero wants to do is push. And you want to push all day, every day of the week. And I'm gonna get points into Atrophy Aura now. Oh my god, what is this fucking lag? I'm not having a good time of it. Oh, Naga Siren's getting ganked. Well, that sucks. I'm just gonna camp top rune in desperate hopes of getting that. Oh, Naga Siren, run! Oh, Naga Siren, you are fucked. 9, 10. God damn it. Well, that's not very fun. But yeah. So what you want to do with this hero is just push. Push as much as possible, as early as possible. His aura allows him to do that because you get more damage, you reduce the amount of damage the creeps do, and overall you make their early game damage output a lot less effective. Now, do that by just spamming your Fire Wave over and over again, and since this is Dota 1, nobody buys couriers in Dota cash games because, you know what, fuck flying couriers. So I'm gonna have to just get Arcane Boots. Insofar as mana spam is concerned, yeah, he does spam his Firestorm and Pit Mouse quite frequently, but his ultimate has a really long cooldown at all levels. And one of the changes actually was that his ultimate can be cancelled, so I'll go over that very soon. But his ultimate's just, it takes a lot of, you know, setup, and I can't really use it because I'm gonna run out of mana if I do decide to use it on that bottom lane. But yeah, I will try to go over it very, very soon as Techies is just owning everything. Oh god, Techies. Of course, my team will never buy a gem, because that's how it goes in Dota cash pubs. You know, your Techies is utterly incompetent, the other team buys 80 gems, but if it's the enemy team's Techies, they're gonna have like wards and sentry wards and have a billion gems just for the sake of carrying that bling bling. Fuck off, Kunkka. I have a lot of base damage. You gotta respect me. So yeah, what this hero is designed to do is push, and I don't think you really need that much damage or need that much mana, because you're only going to spam 2 abilities for the most part. So I think Arcane Boots is probably good enough to sort of see your way through for the vast majority of the game, as long as you get a bottom wand, because I get one on every single hero, regardless of the situation, just because I fucking love the item. Oh no! I'm gonna try to bail myself out of trouble. Live! Yes! So that was my ultimate. What it does is it teleports you and your ally back to a structure. Oh my god. I thought that puck orb was not friendly, but it was. So it teleports. You saw those orbs fly around me, so anything in the AoE, if it's an ally, gets teleported with you to a building or a creep. Now, I've heard talk that people think this ultimate is vastly underrated, and I could be using it wrong. You obviously want to be using a more communicated environment, but I think this ultimate is actually vastly overrated, despite people claiming it's underrated, because whenever I teleport to a creep, the creep dies, because it has such a long delay. I mean, it does decrease to 4 seconds at its max level, but still 4 seconds is obviously, you know, not that good insofar as ganks are concerned. I mean, you're just really not going to find that too practical of an ability. In terms of bailing out of trouble, it's obviously great because you can just run around and you'll eventually teleport yourself out of trouble. And usually, once in a blue moon, you might find yourself using it for an offensive purpose, and when you do that, it just works out phenomenally well. And obviously, since I play a lot of pubs in Dota Cash and Dota 1, that's probably why my experience with this ultimate in an aggressive fashion has been, for the most part, pretty sour. So I think this ultimate has a lot of hidden potential. I just don't think it's as game-breaking ultimate as a lot of people think. It has too long of a cooldown, it's too big of a mana cost, and Phoenix is just annoying the heck out of me. Fucking Phoenix changed every single patch. I actually looked through Phoenix's spells and they're nothing like what I remember them like 3 patches ago. So, I don't know. Ice Frog is grasping at straws for Phoenix apparently, because he always changes this hero no matter what. But yeah, his ultimate very useful in terms of defending, and I don't know if there's mines here, I don't know if there's a techies here, I don't know if there's anything here. Oops, whatever, I went a bit too early. I don't know if we would have killed Phoenix anyways. Oh, I should go in because I have Atrophy Aura. Oh no, Phoenix Sunray, please stop, go away, please. God, I don't like you. But yeah, this hero obviously pushes very well since you can clear out creeps very easily, and they can also turtle quite effectively. Now I'll show you what Pit Mouse does since I'm going to be thinking I'm using it very soon. So what Pit Mouse does is, you know, it's like an AoE entangle, although a lot shittier, to put it bluntly. I think I need to get myself out of trouble. I'm going to phone home, and I'm going to fight. Just to see if I could do enough damage to get a kill, but it looked like it wasn't the case. But yeah, the ultimate, very useful in terms of escaping, and because it is a team-wide AoE, it can be pretty useful in terms of setting up ganks, as long as you know what you're doing. And since you can teleport to buildings, and you can teleport to creeps, you can obviously use it in creative ways to like set up gank. And even in a base defense situation, if you teleport with your entire team in front of your tower, you might find them to be, you know, not in a very good position. But back to Pit Mouse, since that is the only skill I have not gone over. What this spell does is it limits the opposing team's movement when they enter the pit. And the pit, even though it does look like it's a very big AoE, it's quietly, actually not the biggest AoE, but people walk into it will have their movement restricted. That means they can still cast, they can still attack, which is very, very annoying. But it does go through magical immunity, so people who have activated BKB or Rage or anything like that, that renders them magically immune, will be limited in the pit for no matter what for the duration. Now if you walk out of the pit and walk back into it, you won't get stunned. It only affects you once during the duration of each cast. And the initial stun duration I think is 1 second. It scales all the way up to 2.5. It's not a true stun because it's not a true disable, but I mean it's still pretty effective since as you level up the cooldown does drastically decrease. But I find Atrophy Aura a better spell to use in the mid game just because I don't know, I could be playing a bit too much solo, but I think it's better in terms of pushing. And I think that's what this hero is designed to do. This hero is designed to push, and it's designed to push very, very hard. This looks like Teal's in a lot of trouble. Teal is going to get into a world of hurt. 2-12. Team is not doing very well. Oh well. I think the other team was sort of a, you know, an MMR stack on Dota Cash, which is, you know, hard to say, but Dota Cash still has those MMRs, which are kind of annoying to deal with in general. Nagasarn, please don't get yourself into trouble. Should I bail myself out of trouble? Poor Naga. Poor guy. I feel for you, bro, but I won't mourn your death. I did panic. That's my biggest flaw as a player. I panic. But yeah, I should have probably saved that Naga. So this hero is obviously designed to push, like I keep mentioning over and over again. And you can turtle it very effectively since it can just, you know, funnel into choke points pretty effectively. And I think that's one of the big reasons why the ramp was widened, is because Pit Lord was so powerful in those sort of base defense scenarios. Well, it's not the only reason, but I don't know when the ramp was exactly widened. I don't know if it was at the height of Pit Lord's popularity. It could be, it could not be. Who knows? As we got a tower. Yay, go us. So, insofar as builds are concerned, this hero can farm very, very quickly, and that's why if you played Dota 1 in the old days, you saw a lot of Pit Lords get Radiance, because he's sort of tanky. If you build him as a tank, he can farm pretty quickly. And, you know, if the other team leaves it uninterrupted, you might get enough farm to secure yourself a Radiance if you're lucky. As Phoenix is right here. Phoenix. Oh my god, what is this? Fucking Phoenix. Oh my god. Pit Lord! That was pretty funny. Oh my god. Sorry I couldn't commentate. That was pretty funny. That was really funny. I got X'd out of the Dark Rift. I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Anyways, back to his builds. He doesn't need that much mana because you're only going to be sparing 2 spells. I think arcane moves are more than sufficient, especially if you have Bottle. But yeah, in the old days, since he can farm really fast, people like to get Radiance, they like to go Battle Fury, you know, the standard, you know, pub trash Dota 1 items. These days, I'm not too sure what he needs because he doesn't need that much mana regeneration, so I don't know if he's necessarily the best Hex builder. I think probably the best thing you can do with him is build the utility items that your team is lacking, whether it be Force Staff, Pipe, things of that nature. And I think in this game, I need to get Tank, so I'm going to go for a Tank build. Do I need Armor? Yes and no, because Phoenix does pure damage, Kunkka does pure damage, but I still want a Cloak since Mirana does not do pure damage. I might build into a Pipe, but right now I want a Gem, because fuck techies. That's pretty much my motto in Dota 1 pubs these days, just fuck techies. So, you can build into Force Staff Drums. I think he's probably the most similar to Elder Titan in regards to his build, since you want to build those tanky utility items that make life just a lot more miserable, or a lot easier for your team to deal with in general. So whether it be Vlad's or just tanking up, either way, those items would be very useful for your team regardless of the situation. If you are a side laner, I don't know how good he is as a side laner because he can't really zone people out using melee. He doesn't really have a reliable way to trap people in place since Pit and Mouse has a bit of a delay. If you haven't seen it already, then you have noticed that it does have a little bit of a 1 second delay, which is quite annoying to catch up to people with in general. What the hell was that? What was that shadow stuff? Oh, they have a veil up. I completely forgot what veil is. And Phoenix, this guy obviously knows how to play Phoenix since he just used the thing to get over cliffs. And now disarmed. Oh, that sucks. We just lost the gem. Yeah, these guys definitely a higher MMR than my team. Oh well. Man, I just can't get a good game. Either to stomp on my end or I get stomped. Oh well. What can you do? Poor Puck. Well, we have 5 kills. That's something. But yeah, he's really utility based. I wish I could show you some aggressive maneuvers with the ultimate, but obviously you can think of a sneaky way. Maybe if you enchant a creep or use a Chen, you can send it to Roshan, send it into the jungle, smoke it up, and then just ninja it and just all Dark Ritual into it. When you're pushing with the Dark Ritual or when you're teleporting for an aggressive situation, make sure you don't cast it on the first creep, because if the creep dies, the Dark Ritual's timer will go up, so you just stand around for 4 seconds looking at an idiot, and then it'll say, alright, the creep that you are casting it to has just died. Sucks for you. That's basically what it goes. Maybe not so ineloquently, but that's how I feel. I mean, there was obvious a mine there. And as I say that, I run over 5 mines. I need a pipe. And since I bought a gem, I'm very sad since I'm gonna have a lot less farm. What are you doing, Naga? Yeah, I'm the best. All me setting up that Skelly King. All me. So, yeah, there's a lot of clever things you can do with the Dark Ritual, which you obviously won't be able to do in an unorganized pub environment, which I think is his main weakness. His other main weakness is that I think he falls off pretty late as the game goes on later and later, since a lot of his damage is magically based, and in general, magic damage does not scale onto the late game. But he is pretty mobile. He could potentially be utilized as a Furin, because one of my favorite ways to play him in the old days was just to play him as a strong split pusher and just pick up Boots of Chow and then just split push around up, use Dark Ritual whenever I need to. And of course, it's not as frequent as Furin's teleport, but it's something, as, you know, you don't have to really be worried about locking down, and you have a bit more base HP than something like a Furion. But yeah, I mean, there's a variety of different ways you can play him. The main base problem remains the same, which is that I think he does fall off very hard in the late game unless you sort of manage to get off to a good start. I think the Atrophy Aura definitely helps him overcome some of that gap because you still have that aura online. If you manage to get a strong enough to start, if you get tanky enough, then it'll be next to impossible for them to kill you, even if you are pretty squishy and so far as your base strength growth is concerned. Now, for me, my team and myself has not gotten off to a good start whatsoever, so that is going to make life a lot more difficult. Oh no. That was almost an awesome sleep setup, and then we sucked. Oh man, Dota cash pubs. They never break even. They're just either one-sided or not one-sided. I don't know how else you can say it. Well, they're just one-sided in general. So, other things to go on about. I'm not really sure. A couple things more to mention about Pitted Mouse. Invisible units, it acts very similar to Entangle, so invisible units won't be able to go invisible. Blinking units won't be able to blink, as man, that was a good arrow. Holy shit, that was a good arrow. I'm not even mad, that was a good arrow. And he has my gem, so I'm sad. But yeah, Pitted Mouse, obviously pretty strong in that regard in terms of limiting the mobility. In the competitive scene, I think he can only really be put into a really hardcore ganking lineup or a really hardcore pushing lineup. And even then, I don't think he's the strongest ganking hero. Because if you want to get a good ganking hero, where are you going to lane him? Because a lot of the best mid lane gankers are very mobile. Pitlord isn't mobile until you get the ultimate, and even then you can only cast it 100 every 130 seconds. So I think that's his main flaw. I think Atrophy Aura is cool. I much preferred it when he had the old Expulsion, not the super old Expulsion, but the newer one where you just heal up, because I think that made him a lot more competitive, because he just really does not scale well, at least the way I build him. So it's a bit disappointing being a Pitlord fan. Still, I am having a lot more fun playing with him because I just have a better understanding of the hero in general, and I have a better understanding on his limitations as well as his strengths. And unfortunately, we're not able to utilize his strengths in this game whatsoever. Naga. Oh, Naga. I mean, couldn't really do anything. Strong. We are the strongest. We are getting owned so hard. We played scared. It's over. I think the problem is that it's 34-7. That's why it's over. So yeah, I don't think he'll be necessarily very viable. I mean, I don't know, he could have a role in super hard push strats. I don't know if he necessarily needs as much experience compared to other heroes, because he could just skip sort of the fire shit and just go max Atrophy Aura. But then you'd have to lane him very defensively because he doesn't really contribute anything into an offensive shot scenario. So the tricky thing is laning him and then figuring out what to do after the lane. All me. You see that 100 damage of the Pitted Malphus? I forgot to mention Pitted Malphus also does 100 damage at every level. So that's pretty cool. Where's the gem? Phoenix has the gem. So yeah, he's a really interesting hero with a lot of things that he can do, but I think if he gets off to a bad start, he finds it difficult to recover. Especially since he's so big and immobile. I mean, his ultimate makes him a little bit more mobile, but that's pretty much it. I mean, these guys, they switch from Sentinel to Scourge, so whatever. They stack to avoid us. Dota Cash. Some things never change. But I think the items you want to build yourself up to: Pipe, Hex, Hex Pipe, Pipe Hex. Shivas. Those kind of items. But yeah, this game's over. I think I did a reasonable job of Payload mid. I didn't die. But it's kind of hard for Payload to gank mid. I think he sort of functions similar to his Shadow Fiend in mid, although you can't really gank as effectively as Shadow Fiend because your stun is very unreliable and you don't have much range insofar as casting your Firestorm. But as soon as your opponent leaves lane, you just push relentlessly with your Firestorm and just push in with the creeps. But I think that's the biggest problem, laning and mobility, and those are pretty important these days to have in a competitive environment. And if you put him as support and just max Atrophy Aura, then you won't be tanky enough to survive. Even though Atrophy Aura does have 9-inch range, it's I was gonna say, you won't be able to touch everything. Do you have a gem or is that sentry? Sorry, I helped contribute to another kill. Status traps all day, every day. Techies is so much fun. Please bring me into Dota 2 Valve. ASAP. Maybe Blink Dagger is an option on Payload. I don't know, Piv now just has such a long delay. I even doubt Blink Dagger's viability. But yeah, maybe you can lame something like a mid-solo clock, where you just build a mech on him and build just a bunch of aura items. And obviously there's some merit to... Oh, I got owned. Sucks to be me. So yeah, this game is pretty much over. I think I've pretty much gone over Pillar in detail. I mean, if you played Dota 1, he's largely unchanged outside of the Atrophy Aura change, which is arguably better, arguably worse. I mean, it gives him a lot less damage potential, but you can last it. It's better than Expulsion in some ways, even though it doesn't do the mini stun. But he's still largely the same hero that he used to be in Dota 1. The old changes were reverted, whether it be the Channeling Firestorm or the old Expulsion, which, you know, made you heal and all that jazz. He's pretty much the same guy that he used to be, and he could deal with a buff in my opinion, because he kind of sucks. Well, he doesn't kind of suck. He sucks in a non-organized environment where you can't utilize his ultimate. And even in an organized environment, 130 seconds of health, really? I don't think the ultimate is game-breaking enough that it can warrant having a 130-second cooldown, whereas a teleport, like Wisp, is 70 seconds. And a teleport that can bring you anywhere on the map, not bound by creeps nor towers. Or a teleport like Furion, where I know you have a channeling time, and it is a lot different, but that is 20 seconds. This is an ultimate. This is supposed to be your best ability, and it only is... It's freaking 130-second cooldown for an ultimate that people say, oh, well, you could do this. I mean, when you say you could, that never leads to a good situation. So I think his ultimate, I've maintained that his ultimate still needs buffs, and people don't agree with me. I think I'm right, but I don't know. But yeah, if this game continues to farm for another however long how it goes, well, then I'm just gonna end early, which I think they will just continue farm. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you learned something from Payload mid. Again, skill build, I think max Firestorm by 7, get 1 point to Atrophy Aura, since you do get a lot of base damage, and it's pretty useful as a laning ability in general. But yeah, so get this at level 1, get this at Firestorm at 2 and 3, get one of these in 4 in case you're getting ganked to limit the mobility, and then just max this by 7. I don't even know if you need ultimate level 6. May be better if I just got a point to Atrophy Aura or a point to Pitted Malice. But yep, thanks for watching, everybody. build whatever you want this guy. It'll probably work. I'll see you next time.